What if you could literally control the way people receive information? It's pretty powerful. What if you could change someone's entire perspective on any given subject, literally in moments? My wife's like, what the hell did you say to her? I say, would you believe me if I told you? I mean, I pre-framed her, right? Will this work in real estate? 100%. Will this work in business acquisitions? 600%. We've had people use this strategy. It's so easy to implement. You can do it immediately. You have a seller you want to talk to, you can literally do it today. And we've had people that have extreme success doing this. We also, just to be clear, we've had people who've used it and it hasn't worked really well, because it's not going to be a quick fix for any negotiation or any seller conversation. Will this work in real estate? 100%. Will this work in business acquisitions? 600%. And I think you're really going to be excited to learn about it. So I'm not putting all this up here to brag on me or my strategy, but I'm telling you that this right here, if you walk away with anything from this event, this can really help you change the way you communicate. And more than anything else, I think it's a paradigm shift. So I hope you all enjoy this. So we'll get into this in just a second. What if we could literally get buy-in on anything we want in life? Do you all know who that is on the right? Who is it? It's Professor X, right? He's an empath. It's pretty crazy. What if you could control the way people receive information? Has anyone, raise your hand if this is true. Have you ever said anything to somebody and it came off wrong? Does anybody have a wife or girlfriend? They're like, hey, how do I look? Jeez. What happens when they don't look good? What do you tell them? What if you could literally control the way people receive information? It's pretty powerful, right? What if you could change someone's entire perspective on any given subject, literally in moments, and have them completely erase everything they think to be true and look at it from your point of view? Wouldn't that be amazing? Imagine if you had a pair of glasses that was your perspective, right? These are your perspective glasses, and I could literally hand them to you, and then now you can see my perspective, and I get to control the way you look at the world. Isn't that pretty powerful? Interesting. Interesting. Hey, I need a help. What's that? It's coming through our speakers? Was that you guys in the back partying or what? Hey, I need a volunteer real quick. Who considers himself a helpful person? Can you help me for just a second? We're going to bond anyway on Zoom. I just need you to bring 2 chairs for me and put them right there on the stage, okay? Thank you. I'm just kidding. I just pre-framed you. I didn't really need that, but since I said, do you consider yourself a helpful person? Instantly, people said, yeah, I'm interested. I'm helpful, right? Let's keep going. Just kidding. What if you could get somebody to see your point of view without having their own personal biases in the way? All this stuff is absolutely possible. You can use it every single day in your negotiations, in your real estate investing, in your business acquisition investing, in your personal life, with your children, with the people at the store, with the guy at the hardware store. You can use it every single place, and it's called pre-framing, okay? There's one key concept that I'm going to teach you today, and this is going to be something that I hope sticks with you for the rest of your life. It's the concept that of what we present first changes the way people experience what we present next, right? What we present first changes the way people experience what we present next. Does that make sense? So if I would have looked at you just a minute ago and say, hey, can you put 2 chairs on the stage for me? You'd be like, it was random and weird. But when I say, hey, do you consider yourself a helpful person? You're like, of course. I say, do you mind helping me put some chairs on the stage? It changed the way you received it, right? I'll give you a lot of examples. But pre-framing essentially is the art of setting someone up to hear or receive information the way that you want to give it, right? There's so many times you want to give constructive criticism to people in your family and your business partners. Is that true? Does that always work? No. It's kind of a shit show sometimes, right? Do you have anybody in your life where you have to walk on eggshells all the time? Has anybody got that, eggshells? Do you understand that concept? Yeah. We have a lot of people like that in our lives, and this can really help you communicate with those people. What I'm about to teach you, though, it's very important you understand that this is really designed to be used through verbal communication, face-to-face communication. It can work on Zoom, but when you take away the ability to use voice inflection and hand gestures and tonality, it can be really, really bad. Imagine if you're trying to text somebody and the way you said it was easily taken out of context. Could that go south really quickly? Especially if we're going to use the utility of using this in deal making It would be really bad to have that come out wrong. So just make sure you understand that this is really made for verbal and face-to-face and Zoom communication, because tonality is huge, voice inflection, body language, all that's very, very important, right? I could say like, I really hate you. You know, that comes across different than when I just texted to you. Does everybody have a grandma that types in all caps? You know what I'm talking about? I was like, why is grandma yelling at me? You know, you can't do that. So a couple things. One of my favorite examples of this comes from Robert Cialdini's book called Persuasion. And he was explaining this concept, and you don't have to read it. It's really long, it's kind of weird, and I'm going to teach you everything you need to know, okay? So save yourself. It's like this thick. It's like 3 Bibles. It's big. But one of my favorite examples he gave of this concept is he asked this mall survey company to go do this experiment. And what they did is they walked around the mall with a clipboard. You ever seen anybody taking a survey before? I know people don't go to malls anymore, but back when they did, right? You would see somebody with a clipboard and they'd ask you questions. So they said, hey, would you like to try these chocolate-covered crickets? And over 90% of them consistently on all their tests kept saying, no, I don't eat chocolate-covered crickets. That's weird, right? But then they changed it. In the second level of the experiment, they said, do you consider yourself adventurous and liking to try new things? They just added, remember, what we say first can change the way people experience what we present next. So just changing that one thing, pre-framing that, instead of saying, hey, would you want to try a chocolate-covered cricket? They said this, do you consider yourself an adventurous person liking to try new things? 90% of them said yes. At that point, ate the cricket. Everything changes, right? Isn't that pretty interesting? One of my favorite things is my daughter, Sydney. She's 15 now. Her room is an absolute disaster. That's not her room. That's too staged. Her room's worse. Yeah, I mean, she's 15. There's going to be bras and all kinds of stuff hanging around, so I figured I'd use this clip art, right? But it's really interesting. Her mom cannot get her to clean her room. I'm talking like it's time to fight. And she's got attitude for days. And I have a 14-year-old daughter as well, so we've got plenty of that going on. But if I want her to clean her room, it's literally easy. It's so easy because I pre-frame her. It's easy. I said, you know what would be really great today, Sydney? What's that, Dad? We should go to Starbucks. Yeah? Can I get a venti or Trenti? Dragon drink, purple? I think we could probably get that done, right? The only problem is I'm sure Mom would probably have a lot more buy-in for us going to Starbucks after 12 noon. We know the caffeine policy in the house. No caffeine after 12 noon, right? If your room was spotless. She's like, oh, okay, no problem, Dad. I'll be right back. She goes off and she'll clean the room. It's that easy, right? My wife's like, what the hell did you say to her? I say, would you believe me if I told you? I mean, I pre-framed her, right?